Welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. I feel like my ahoys are getting more OTT.
Yeah, that one was more so. When I was editing last week's, it was really OTT.
Okay.
Because I started with my hello and your ahoy came in at the same time.
Sometimes I just go quick.
I don't know.
Go too soon.
This might be a bit behind the scenes here, but I always know when to finish the theme tune of the show. Finishes in the middle of your ahoy.
Nice.
So it depends on how long your ahoy is to how long the theme tune goes. There's a little behind the scenes
Lovely.
fact for you. The song will always finish during Nick's ahoy.
It's an absolute treat for you.
Go back
people.
and check it out if you don't believe me. What we doing, Nick? What we here for? We got a movie to talk about.
Sure. It's the world famous Bottom of the Stream podcast, and we're here to talk about another movie.
Yes.
This week, you have chosen the movie.
I have. I've played my wild card.
No randomised selection this week
Nope.
because if anyone's new to listening to us, we will remind you that every season, Adam and myself get a wild card choice where we can pick the movie, as do our Patreons who come in at our top level, our first mate level. And yeah, you've played your wild card.
I have. I'm last but one to play this season. Still one more to go. And I decided to go for a comedy
Yep.
from the 80s.
Okay.
And it's a horror film.
Yeah.
And it's called Bloodbath at the House of Death. It's from 1984. It isn't 18. It was released as an 18. It is now rated as a 15.
Okay.
So it was released on DVD in 2008, and it was released as a 15 then.
Got you.
So it was re-rated in 2008. It runs for 1 hour and 32 minutes and is currently rated at 5.0 on IMDb. 5.0. Thoughts? Right? Wrong? Indifferent? About right?
I can see that viewers who are fans of some of the people in this, would rate it highly.
Yes.
All I will say at this stage is that time has not been kind to this movie for a lot of reasons.
I think that's fair.
And I would not have it anywhere near that high.
Right, okay. Don't give anything away, but we'll get to that. But I might understand what you mean. So this film stars absolute comedy royalty in this country, Kenny Everett. He plays Lucas Mandeville. He's most famous probably for his relationship with Queen, the band.
Yeah.
And he basically made Bohemian Rhapsody what it is. When it was released, he played it 14 times in one weekend on his radio show.
Yeah, he was like one of the first DJs on Radio 1 when it launched.
Yes, he was a shock jock. He was just trying to be controversial, trying to buck the trends of radio DJs at the time. He also had about 5 or 6 different sketch shows.
Yeah.
With his career.
He was on TV for decades in this country.
He parodied Rod Stewart quite famously.
Yeah.
Big friends with Princess Diana, with Freddie Mercury. He's basically a comedy god of the 80s in the UK. Talking of gods, this film also stars Vincent Price.
Yeah. Horror royalty himself.
Horror royalty. Probably the biggest name in horror. Him and Christopher Lee, maybe.
I mean, they're of the same era.
Yeah. Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
They're the three, aren't they? They're the three big horror
Karloff.
icons. Yeah, Boris Karloff. He is credited in this film as Sinister Man. Doesn't given a name. He's just given a title. Boris Karloff, not him. Vincent Price has 211 acting credits on IMDb.
Wow.
That's mad. Some of the lines they get him to say in this film, you just wouldn't expect to hear his voice saying.
I mean, they did well to get him to be in this movie. I feel
he's
like
only in 5 scenes in this movie.
Yeah,
all the way through. I'm like, how have they got him to say that? How have they got Vince? I don't understand how it's happened, but we'll get to that because I've got some words on his character. And also, this film stars Pamela Stephenson. She plays Barbara Coyle. Most famous film-wise, she was in Superman 3.
Yeah.
But if you are a fan of British TV comedy from the 80s, you will know her. She was in pretty much every sitcom, every sketch show.
Yeah, she was very famous for Not the 9 O'Clock News, which launched like Smith Jones and Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, all of those sort of people. She was in everything with those. She did a lot with Kenny Everett. She was even on Saturday Night Live a few times in the States, so her fame did pass. She's been married to Billy Connolly, another British comedy royal, for a long time now.
Yeah.
But she retired from acting in the 1980s.
She's a psychologist now.
She's now
quite a famous
doctor of psychology. Yeah. Yes. And since the 80s, she's been on every single chat show and talk show in the UK that you can imagine. Yeah. Either as herself or as this doctor of psychology. She married Billy Connolly in 1989. Directed by Ray Cameron. Nick actually found a very interesting fact about Ray Cameron.
Yeah.
Do you want to hit us with it?
Yeah, bringing this one to the party. He has a son who is now a famous person.
Yes, he does.
Ray Cameron is the father of English stand-up comedian and floppy-haired suit wearer Michael McIntyre.
He is, yeah. Interesting.
So, if anything goes to prove with Michael McIntyre's career, it's not how good you are, it's who you know.
Exactly. I'm not a big McIntyre fan.
No.
I'm not going to lie. Ray Cameron spent a lot of his career working with Kenny Everett. He worked on all of his sketch shows, that sort of thing. However, this is the only film he ever directed.
Okay.
This film was written by Ray Cameron and also by Barry Cryer. Now, we need to talk about Barry Cryer. Barry Cryer is a very famous comedy writer in the UK.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
presenter, again, on TV for decades over here.
Passed away in January of this year.
Yeah.
Quite recently. I've got a list of people that he wrote comedy for.
Okay.
Would you like me to read this list out?
Yes, please.
So, he has writing credits for Morecambe and Wise, Our Two Ronnies, Tommy Cooper, Marty Feldman, Kenny Everett, Rory Bremner, Frankie Howard, Warren Mitchell, Russ Abbott, Les Dawson, Jasper Carrot, Little and Large, and Dick Emery. So basically, if you laughed at anything British in the 80s, Barry Cryer probably wrote it.
Yeah.
He is like a comedy legend. He was on every single talking head show that Channel 5 ever made as well, talking about comedy. And yeah, unfortunately passed away last month. Well, January. It's March now, isn't it? But yeah, January. That's it. That's my cast and crew. That went on 2 pages. I only ever usually write 1 page of cast and crew notes.
It's a really interesting background.
Yeah, because I haven't even got to like people like Gareth Hunter in this. He's again famous 80s actor. Oh, I've forgotten the other guy's name.
Don
Warrington, again, massively famous 80s star. And somehow they've all come together to make this film. Do you have a 1-word review of it?
Bawdy.
I thought you said boring then.
That's in Bawdy.
Bawdy. Okay, that's a good one. It's a 1 word.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
And when do I ever not do a 1-word review? Let's be honest.
Quite regularly.
No.
Where does this film
check the recordings. Never happens.
Where does this film start, Nick?
August the 12th, 1975.
Which is a Thursday.
Give or take a day.
Because it was a Tuesday. It actually was a Tuesday in real life.
I mean, did this annoy you straight away? Because you don't like titles on
screen.
I don't like
titles on
You
screen.
got a joke one.
I did got a joke one straight away. Yeah, it comes up August 12th, 1975, Thursday, give or take a day. That's the first thing you see in this film.
There's something rustling in the bushes outside Headstone Manor.
Yes. Which is quite a cool name for a house, I thought.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I liked it. There's something going on at the manor. It is a businessman's weekend retreat and a schoolgirl's summer camp.
Yeah,
both going on at the same time.
Yeah, you gotta prioritize your bookings better.
Exactly.
I mean, every time it happens a few times in this movie where something rustles in the bushes, they make the same joke, don't they? So the thing or the hand moves the bushes back and whacks itself in the face.
Yeah, happens 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
We see some monks. There are some monks walking towards the building. And they have weapons.
Yeah, they're packing.
They're packing. They're armed up. And then suddenly the house glows bright red.
Yeah.
In the most 80s of 80s graphics you've ever seen. There's one more later on that's even worse. And then I've just written here, lots of murders happen.
Yeah, there's a murder montage.
There's a murder montage. So
in most cases, the businessmen are in bed with said young girls.
yeah, because it's the 80s and that's what happened. And they'll get murdered. There's 18 murders, I think, carried out during this first scene.
There are.
They go straight to the title card, and then we come back from the title card, and the police are on the scene. There are body parts scattered all over the drive, hanging out the house, hanging out the windows. There's 2 people got struck by lightning during that montage, which again was some of the worst great on-screen effects I've ever
lightning.
seen. Yeah, there's a cop standing in the doorway just watching over
he's
the
like
scene.
he seems to be the chief
detective.
This was Barry Cryer.
Oh, was it? Was that Barry Cryer? Okay, fair enough. And he's just getting blood dripped on him, and he's not noticing. And by the end of the scene, he's just completely covered in blood, and he's not even noticed. Thought it was quite funny.
My first surprises for this movie was it's comedy gore.
Yeah,
but I wasn't expecting.
There is quite a lot of gore.
The gore.
Yeah, there is quite a lot of gore.
There's literally just policemen scooping up meat and hands and body parts into the joke is they're putting it into string bags, aren't they? Yeah, I wasn't prepared for the amount of
there is a lot of
gratuitous gore in this movie.
There is a lot of gore in it. You can see why it was an 18 when it was released.
Yeah,
definitely. Then there's some good old fashioned 80s spinning newspaper headlines.
I was so happy with this. I don't think we've ever had an actual spinning newspaper on the bottom of the street.
I don't think we have. It doesn't really happen anymore.
No, and this was like the news report montage of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we see this all the time.
Yeah.
We see exposition happens through a news report on TV or on the radio. We've seen it so many times,
Hundreds
as you will
of
know
times,
if you've listened to our episodes. To actually get the original, the old spinning newspaper headlines.
It was cool. It was cool.
I thought, that's cool.
So basically, the headlines are all a variation of 18 slain at the House of Death.
Yeah.
And then we meet Lucas and Barbara the first time.
There's another title card.
Oh, is it?
So it says The Present.
Oh, he does, yeah.
Which was 1984.
Yes, so we've come forward 9 years in time. And then we meet Lucas and Barbara the first time. They're driving towards the House of Death, or Headstone Manor, and they are lost.
Yes.
So this is Kenny Everett and Pamela Stephenson.
They say they're on a government mission.
They're on a top secret government mission to investigate strange radioactive readings at a house. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Why it's radioactive, we don't know, and I don't think we ever find out. But that's what they've been assigned to do. They list off. There's a real big thing at the beginning of this film about the 18 different ways people died.
Yeah.
I didn't write them all down, and I probably should have done. I don't know.
It's like 4 were speared, 1 was hung, 2 were beheaded,
6 were frozen,
1 just exploded.
Yeah. 2 struck by lightning.
Yeah.
They make a big. They list it off quite a few times. So that's what they're doing at this point. They list off how everybody died. And then we meet another couple, and they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, there's another 2 scientists en route.
Another 2 scientists en route. And they're doing the same thing. And then we go back to Lucas and Barbara. They pull up at a pub, which was called the Duck and Pull It. And so they go into the pub. They ask the locals if they're on the right road. There's one of these 80s tropes of the whole pub shuts down. And
that's just a trope. The visitors walk in, and everyone turns around and looks at them.
It's a local pub for local people. There's a.
You missed the whole joke. Why does he? Go on.
No, you do.
Okay. No, you go for it.
No, you go for it. Please,
So
after you.
They walk in, the whole place goes quiet, and when Lucas says, "Oh, we're looking for Headstone Manor," everything goes quiet, and he thinks, "Oh God, I offended everyone." Then he realizes his wang's out, so he has to pull his flies up, and
down.
everyone goes back to.
That's why everybody needs to be quiet, not because of their locals. We leave that briefly, and we meet Gareth Hunt and Don Warrington. They're in a different car. They're another pair of scientists. And they're also a gay couple. Yeah. Which for 1984 was quite forward thinking, I guess. Well, but this is a film with Kenny Everett in
okay, so let's look at that a little bit, because yes, I agree it is.
Yeah.
Quite forward thinking. I was quite pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
However, on the other side of the coin, a lot of comedy or what is trying to go for the laughs in this movie, I almost thought was I did think it was quite offensive. Because a lot of these characters have a trait that bears no impact on the movie. It's just quite offensive. So Kenny Everett's character has a limp. Yeah. So he can do a funny walk. Yeah. Pamela Stevens' character has a lisp, so she can't talk properly. Yeah. I was quite disappointed by that. I was like, I didn't think I was getting that.
It's mid-80s humour though, isn't it? It was of its time.
But it's like you'd never see that today.
No, you wouldn't. This film wouldn't get made today.
It's not relevant to the story. They're not going through a journey. They're not overcoming it. It's literally just, he's only got one leg. Isn't it funny to laugh at disabled people? Yeah. Isn't it funny to laugh at people with lisps? It hasn't aged well at all.
No, at the time, it would have been fine, but it hasn't aged well. No.
You can't watch it without going. It was the first thing I noticed, and I was like, that's not good.
There are some jokes later on which you just wouldn't be able to do now.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't be able to do it. Oh, so we go back to Lucas and Barbara. They're in the bar. They've spotted an emblem that's on the wall.
Yes.
And they've also noticed that it's tattooed on every single person in this bar. So she spotted something that's a little bit strange about this place.
Oh, that's the other one. There's a blind man in the pub.
Comedy blind man.
Yeah, comes over to them, knocks everything over, and then orders a pint. And Kenny Everett's like, "Well, this isn't the bar; it's over there." And it's
silly
just
blind man.
Yeah,
he's got glasses on, but he's got the emblem on both his glasses.
So you can't see. And he's in this film a lot, and every time it's the same joke. So he can't see, so he knocks stuff over. Yeah. Again, it's just it wouldn't happen today.
It wouldn't happen today. It would have been, people would have laughed at it in the 80s, but you wouldn't get away with it now. But basically, he comes over. He's heard them talking about where they're heading, Headstone Manor, and he comes over. He's like, "Stay away from the House of Death."
Yeah.
So they're basically being warned away. And then we meet another couple who are also in the car on their way to it. This is an American guy. Didn't catch his name, I don't think.
I think it was Henry.
Yeah, that sounds right. He's got a very strange character trait in that he's got a mole on his arm that's giving him amnesia.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
very strange. And then there's like...
But his amnesia is only on... it's only towards his personal life.
Yeah.
So he's like, I have no problem with work. I can remember all the facts, figures, and readings that I need to, but I can't remember my like personal life or dates or appointments or.
Yeah.
And then it's never mentioned again.
No, never once.
That's really odd.
Really strange. So he's with a lady. She's got a crush on him. She's a floozy, basically. That's her character trait, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're heading to the same place. I'll come back to the pub. Everybody's getting a little bit drunk in the pub now. And they've got Bloody Marys on tap.
Yeah.
Do you notice?
Yeah.
And they're debating about how all these people died at the manor. And they're debating this list of 6 died in the throes and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They go through it all. Night falls during this debate. And then in the next scene, they've come up with a song to remember it.
Try and
which
work
was
out
quite funny.
they're right, yeah.
It was quite funny.
There's a guy in the background with a calculator trying to make sure they've got all the numbers.
They couldn't
right
make it add up to 18. After the pub closes, Lucas goes into the bushes for a wee because he didn't go when the pub was closed. The pub was open, and whilst he's in there, the barmaid's body jumps out at him because it's hanging from the tree. He basically finds a dead body in the
she's been hung upside down from the
tree. Bushes. Yeah, but he doesn't call the police. He doesn't do anything. Well, he can't, I suppose. He hasn't got a mobile.
No, so he says we'll go to the house.
We'll call the police from there. So they head over to the house. And they are being watched as they go in. They're saying something's in the trees. He calls the police, and the police hang up on him as soon as he mentions the word Headstone Manor. Yeah, police like, no, don't want to know.
The policeman's got the symbol on his hand.
Yes, well, so he calls it back, and we cut to the police station, and all the villagers are there in the police station with this policeman now. Yeah, including the blind man. And then everybody turns up. Everybody's at Headstone Manor.
All the other investigators.
So 8 scientists all in one place. And they basically, Lucas is in charge and he introduces everybody to everybody else.
Do you know the jokes I liked in this movie?
What?
With the silly ones.
Yes.
The harmless one. Did like the word plays and but I liked this one. So like Mandeville's Lucas's character, Kenny Everett's character, he's telling them about the murder in the pub. The fact that this
he's just found a barmaid is
fallen on him basically.
Yeah.
And the ginger-haired scientist lady goes hysterical. Yeah. And they're all saying, "Well, what?" Then she's like, "We're in danger. We must leave. We must leave." And they're all saying, "What can we do? How can we help this? You know, she's gone hysterical." Yeah. And someone says, "Give him a slap." Yeah. But instead of them slapping her, she slaps Mandeville. Yeah. And I was like, I like that.
That made me laugh as well, to be fair. Yeah. And then they find a music box, and it's depicting all the murders. Yeah. Somebody's made this really intricate music box, and again, it never gets mentioned again. And then we meet Vincent Price for the first time. Sure. The sinister man shows up, and he's blowtorching the barmaid's face. Only it's not the barmaid; it's a dummy of the barmaid that they've had made to trick them into trying to get. Basically, Vincent Price's character is trying to get people out of the manor. Yeah, he doesn't want anybody.
They're trying to scare.
So they're trying to scare them away, and that's what the dead body in the bushes was not the barmaid; it was a dummy. And
I'm not sure why he's blowing
torching it. Yeah, he said to me, it's just something I like to do after we finish using it. Because the barmaid comes out, she's like, "Why are you blowtorching my face?"
He says, "I'm the arch disciple of Lucifer."
Yes, and I have served him for 700 years.
And the master will return tonight.
Yes,
the night of blood.
The house must be purged. Yeah. Nobody can be in the house. Then we go back to Lucas and Barbara. Lucas is unpacking, and we find out now that he's not only got a limp, he's actually got a completely false leg. Yeah. And it's like suit of armour type metal leg that he's got. Yeah. For some reason. Why not? It reveals as well. Now, this was very bizarre.
This was absolute tumbleweed from me. This whole sequence
didn't understand what this whole character trait of his was. That he reveals that he's actually a German. Yeah. He was a surgeon.
I thought we were going into really dangerous territory here for a second.
So did I. Yeah, he reveals that he's German and he's a surgeon, but he escaped and now he's an English scientist.
Yeah,
there's no reason for that.
No. He's like, I was the best surgeon. Yeah. But I was struck off. Yeah. And then we get like a flashback
Yeah.
to him operating.
So he was like, everybody was waiting for me to make a mistake.
Yeah, they
because I
wanted
was
to
the
take
best
him
and
down,
They wanted
yeah.
to take me down. And then he lost his monocle inside a patient.
Yeah.
Everybody laughed at him, so he started throwing bits of patient.
So
at
yeah,
everybody.
so we get this whole flashback sequence where he drops his monocle into this patient who is completely alive
fine.
and awake on the table, and then Mandeville just keeps pulling out chunks of flesh and innards, and they have an innard fight across the operating table.
Have you ever seen? I don't understand why it was there.
Is that the sort of thing that Kenny Everett?
I was just going to say to you, have you ever seen any of Kenny Everett's?
Not much, no.
It was
just
some of
the famous ones.
Yeah, it was that sort of shit he was doing, like the pulling the fake body parts out of people and that sort of stuff.
I thought it was really bad.
It was like watching a Kenny Everett sketch in the middle of a film with Kenny Everett in. You could see the why they did it, but it didn't need to be there. It was not. There's no reason for his character to be a German man pretending to be an Englishman.
No,
that's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just very.
It's just a chance. He just wanted to do a different voice.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't. I did not find this funny, and just thought it was really weird.
It was really weird. So we cut from there after that. Oh, when he flashes back into real time, he's strangling Barbara.
Oh yeah. Again, never referenced again.
No, they end up in bed together.
Yeah, she like calms him down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So during the flashback, he strangled her. She's calmed him down, and they've
had sex.
Gone to
it's
the naughty
implied
well.
that they've done some naughty. Yeah.
Yeah, because she says, "Oh, you're not very good." Or, you may have been the best surgeon, but you're not
very
the
good
best
in bed. Yeah, it's 80s humour. That's all I can say. And then we cut to the ginger lady that Nick mentioned earlier, the one who was a bit hysterical. I think her name was Finch.
Yeah, I think it was.
She's unpacking her case in her room, but it's just full of sex toys and whips and chains and stuff for some reason. And then we get a flashback to her childhood where the same character is playing her, the same actress is playing her as a young girl.
Yeah.
Which is just her in a school uniform with a wig on.
Even though she's like 60.
Yeah, if she's a day. And we meet her mother, who is a crazy religious psychopath who's whipping her while she's trying to apologise for having a boyfriend.
But also, her mother wears like what I can only describe as a portable confession booth.
Yeah, she's got a little curtain over her face that she pulls back, and she's whipping her. Do you think this was a Carrie ripoff? I don't know why. I got vibes of Carrie from
possibly because there's a bit later on that's basically a Star Wars ripoff.
Yeah,
it was just.
There's also a Shining ripoff in here as well.
Yeah, I know. I know. Kenny Everett's whole thing is like unpredictability, but this was so scattergun.
Yeah,
I was like, if some of the stuff that's in this, I was like, if that's what made it in, what's been left on the cutting room floor?
Yeah. So basically, what makes me say it is because after she's finished praying and apologizing for her sins, she starts moving things with her mind.
Yes.
And then she throws her mother back into the kitchen.
She does, you're right.
And her mother gets stuck in a handheld tin opener that you used to have on the wall in the 80s. Yeah. And her head pops off because she gets her head tin opened off.
Yeah.
And Carrie's mother is killed in a kitchen by kitchen implements.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
It's got to be a Carrie. Yeah. And Carrie's what, like 5-6 years before this?
Yeah.
So it would have been a big horror movie at the time. And her mother's head just falls off.
Yeah, so she gives it a cuddle, doesn't she?
Yeah. Then we go back to the house. We cut back to the present day. We don't have many flashbacks. I think that might be the only two that we had in the whole film.
Yeah, you could be right.
But it was a bit weird that we got them for those two characters. The American guy and his floozy girlfriend are trying to find some food in the kitchen. But obviously the house has been abandoned for as long as ever. As long as ever? As long as ever. And there's no food there. There's no food in the kitchen. The chef's not turned up. We don't know where the chef is.
But they sort of... They have this chat. This exposition is delivered, and then they just make out.
Yeah, they start kissing. I've written get steamy. Then there's a really random scene, which again is just like another Kenny Everett sketch, where
this was more sort of the thing I expected from this film.
So John is another one of the scientists. He's walking down the corridor, and there's ominous music playing as if something's going to happen.
It's an ominous Jaws type.
Yeah, like violin music, and he heads down towards the bathroom, and when he opens the bathroom door, it's Kenny Everett's character Lucas playing a double bass and making that sound. And he's like, oh, I am sorry for coming in. That's the sort of 80s sketch that I was expecting from this.
Yes.
I was expecting it to be a list of sketches that come together to make a film, and that isn't what this is. Lucas then heads to the kitchen. He's also looking for his dinner. They explain to him that the chef hasn't turned up, so they were like, well, I know there's a cellar because
he says, I think there's a freezer downstairs.
6 people died in the freezer, so we know there's a freezer
down there.
So they head down there.
What was this?
I don't know.
So we are in the.
We get to
have
the cellar before
cellar
they
cam.
do. Yeah.
So we're into the cellar, and there are, I guess, pigs.
Hanging meat.
Hanging meat. Which okay,
it's frozen.
I can buy
It's
that.
frozen, and they're like, well, it's too cold to.
On the
use that.
slab in front of the camera is a pork pie,
It's some sort of meat pie. Yes.
but it's breathing
Yeah.
and glowing.
Yeah. It glows green, I think. But then
I don't
No.
understand.
and again, it's never referenced again. They
No.
eat it and nothing happens.
Yeah,
It's
because I thought,
absolutely fine.
is it poison? Is it a thing?
Yeah.
What's,
That's
is
what I
it
was
a plot
thinking. Is
device?
it like, is it some sort of plot device? That's
And
gonna
as soon as
make
the
more
three of
nice?
them walk into the freezer, it stops.
Stops.
And they're
Okay,
like,
it just becomes a
there's
normal
our
meat
tea.
pie.
Yeah, we'll have meat pie.
There's
for
a
tea.
normal meat pie. So they take that, they leave the freezer, and we stay there for a little while, pan around, and we see the chef's there, and he's dead. He's got an axe in his head.
Yeah.
Don't know who killed him because the murderer people haven't even turned up
No,
yet.
never referenced.
So again, never gets mentioned again.
Has he been there for 9 years?
Yeah, maybe. They didn't. No, because they were expecting him to turn up, and they were surprised that he hadn't turned up.
Never explained.
But again,
Doesn't this film feel like a lot of the time like it's been played in the wrong order?
yeah, I can quite understand that. There's some scenes later on where Lucas appears in places he shouldn't even be able to appear.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed. So did I.
The whole ending was really controversial, really like mixed up for me.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get there. We're getting there. We cut back to the sinister man, and the townsfolk are all there, and they're all worshipping at his feet. And then he's got this candle in his hand. This is Vincent
chanting,
Price.
aren't they?
They're
Yeah.
chanting at him.
So monks are chanting at him. He's leading.
He's
them.
holding a candle, and this is Vincent Price. And suddenly he burns his hand. He's like, "Oh shit, I burnt my hand." And I'm like, "How have you got Vincent Price to go? Oh shit, I burnt my hand."
Yeah, and then
in a really camp voice.
Yeah, and then they do the whole joke because the monks are following what he's saying with their chanting. So
Yeah.
they start chanting.
Oh shit, I burnt my hand. Yeah.
And he's shut up.
And then they decide they head off into the woods towards the house.
Right. So this next bit might have been my favourite joke.
I was just going to say the exact.
And
I was trying to figure out how to word that,
and
but I think this is my favourite scene in the film.
I think it's my favourite joke in the movie, and it's arguably the most simple
Yep.
and family-friendly joke
in the
whole
thing.
movie.
But it's one of the few times that it really made me laugh.
I think I would go as far to say this movie only raised a smile from me twice.
Yeah,
and
this is one of them.
Yeah,
and I know what the other one is.
So Miss Finch is perusing the library.
Yep.
Because it's a big old house. It's got a big traditional library. She spots a book on the shelf. The book is entitled Secret Door.
Yeah.
She pulls the book off the shelf and a door opens behind her.
Which she doesn't notice.
It's
a secret door.
Yeah.
Which was really funny. And then when she put it back...
I'm a simple man and
Same.
This tickled me.
And then she puts it back on the shelf and the door closes
Yeah.
just as she turns around and doesn't spot it.
Yeah.
Which was great. But then she picks up a second book, which was called Sudden Spear. But she drops it as soon as she picks it up. So she bends down and just misses a sudden spear that shoots out from where the book was. That just misses her, which was really funny. And then just before Lucas comes in, she picks up a book called Silent Fart.
Yes.
And then when Lucas comes in, he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" It was funny. That bit was quite funny. And she says to Lucas, I've set up all the machines because they're ghost hunters, really, aren't they?
Sure.
So I've set up all the machines.
Let's go and check
them out. I'll show you how they work. She says every inch of the house is covered by ghost equipment. Is the word she uses. And it's an 80s machine. It's just light bulbs.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
There's a big red flashing light with a ghost on it.
Yeah.
That will flash if there's
a ghost. Yeah.
It's all going off.
Yeah. It's all the machine's kicking off.
Yeah.
Everything's going crazy. Then we cut to Barbara. It's been a while since Barbara's been in this film.
Sure.
We're back with her now. There's Pamela Stephenson character. She is inexplicably dyeing her hair.
Yeah. Just
for no reason.
She's got the foils in.
She's got her foils in. This is her first night in this place, and she's decided to spend it dyeing her hair. And then a puff of smoke appears behind her.
Yeah.
And we assume this is a ghost, and this is how ghosts were shown in the 80s.
Yeah.
She panics. She runs around the room a little bit. The door gets locked, and the lamp gets knocked over. And then it rips her clothes off.
I didn't understand what this was.
No.
It doesn't make sense in the movie. But carry on. We'll maybe get to that at the end.
It doesn't make sense. So it rips her clothes off, and you do get the obligatory 80s ladies boob shot.
Yeah.
Which you get in a lot of these sort of films. And then it gets her on the bed, and she starts getting ghost raped, I guess.
Yeah.
But then she starts enjoying it, and she's really getting off on it. Cut back to a little bit later on, and you can see her lying on the bed, and there's two cigarettes just floating in midair.
Yeah.
So the ghost man is obviously having a fag next to her, and she joins him. She takes a cigarette off him and joins in. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Lucas breaks down the door with an axe.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Sticks his head through. It's
Sticks
the
his
Shining
head-
reference.
Yeah, it's the Shining reference. And he's just like, dinner's ready if you want to come down and join us. And they all get together to eat pie.
She says, I quite like this line as well. She says, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. And then she sort of talks to herself and she noticed the ghost's gone.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I'll never see him again. Which I quite like.
Because you hadn't seen him in the first place. He was invisible. They all go downstairs to get together to eat pie.
Pie and wine.
Pie and wine.
Sounds all right to me.
Sounds good to me. We get more scenes of the townsfolk heading towards the house. Lucifer is apparently pissed off that they haven't managed to clear the house yet.
Yeah.
There's a really dated F word. I'm not even going to say the word, but there's a really dated F word joke here, and it's not fuck.
We'll fuck all night long
on this podcast, but I'm not saying the other one. You know what it is. And he's like, basically, you need to gather some wood and start a fire. Don't know why, but that's what you need to do.
Because they're going to burn them out of the house, is what I.
Yeah, but they were in the middle of the woods still. They were nowhere near.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cut back to dinner. Lucas starts getting.
Oh, of course. There's an alien reference.
Oh, of course it is. I hadn't spotted that.
Yeah, it's which on all these films we're talking about were within sort of 5-6 years of this movie.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
I hadn't spotted that at all. Lucas starts to get strangled, and his body starts convulsing, and he basically
because I thought, it's the pie. The pie's
the pie. Something's happened with the pie, and it looks like something's inside him trying to get out, and
he's on the table. It's the John Hurt scene from Alien.
It is exactly that. I hadn't picked up on that at all because I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Because something tries to get out of him, but then it can't, and then he gets up and he's like, oh, it was just trapped wind.
Yeah.
And then that scene's done.
Yeah. Nothing. I've just put nothing happens.
But no, you're right. It is. It's an Alien reference. Clever. Townsfolk build a fire. I wonder if there's loads of films that we're missing. There's that parodied. The townsfolk build the fire. Nobody's got any matches except one guy's got some matches. But he's a bit. I don't think he was the blind man, but he isn't very.
I'm not really sure how it happened.
But he accidentally sets Vincent Price on fire.
They basically put Vincent Price in a pyre and
set him on fire by mistake.
Yeah,
and
he's like, you lot are all useless. You're
idiots.
The worst mob I've ever had.
You've set me on fire. He's like, I'm on fire now, guys.
Yeah,
so I've been really camp
It's
about
like,
it.
Look, at least I'm going to finally go and meet Lucifer, but it's not how I wanted to do it.
I'm 700 years old, and this is the way I'm going to go. I'm not happy about this, guys. And he's like, and then these last words in the scene are, "Oh, it's really hot," which did make me laugh, to be fair. And that's it. Vincent Price is done.
Yeah.
He's dead. He's gone. He's only in 5 scenes, and by halfway through this film, he's out. I still can't understand how you get him in this film.
No,
I don't understand how it happens. But then, rising from his ashes is Lucas to start with.
Yeah.
And you can see as well they're on a really poorly constructed lift because it kind of stops and bounces when they get to the end, and they all appear.
Yes, so there's a clone of all the scientists.
All the scientists. There's 8 people appear out of this hole.
They're wearing red monk robes.
And these scientist doppelgangers clones are really angry with the townsfolk.
Yeah.
And they all start exploding in balls of fire.
Yeah, they kill them with their eyes.
Kill every single one of them. So even the blind man gets killed in the end.
Oh yeah, but for some reason he regains his sight and then he gets exploded.
He's like, I can see. And then he just explodes. It's very strange.
This was the second one that made me laugh.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This next line.
Go on.
Again, it's so simple. So the scientists are still all sitting in the kitchen.
Yeah, so we've got 2 versions of each character now.
Yeah, the real scientists, they've finished their pie, they're sitting around the kitchen table. And one of them says, because you can hear all these explosions going off in the background, and one of them says, what's that noise out there?
Yeah.
And Pamela Stephenson's character says,
that made me laugh.
Sounds like a load of monks exploding.
Which is exactly what it was, but what does that sound like? That really did make me laugh as well, to be fair.
That was my two laughs.
From I've got a third one. I've got a third one later. So, but it did make me laugh in the trailer as well. So one of them inexplicably passes out. It's Big John. He just passes out at the table and then gets back up and he's all right.
Yeah.
Don't really understand why that happened. And then they hear the machines make some noise, so they all run over to the machines.
Yeah.
And the machines have been neutralised, as they called it, which is basically they've all been turned off.
Yes, exactly.
So they're all standing there and they say, right, we need to go and search the house. We'll go in pairs. Gareth Hunt and Don Warrington, you two can stay here. And
in case the machine turns back on.
In case the machine turns back on. But it'll all go off. And they're all now individually being stalked by their own doppelganger or their own clone.
Yeah.
The
I can't wait to hear you describe this next scene.
So the gay couple, which is Gareth Hunt and Dom Warrington, are reading a
I didn't mean this bit. I meant the bit
okay.
after. But
Okay.
yeah, carry on.
So they're reading a gay magazine together.
Yeah.
Which, incidentally, on the front cover has the headline of AIDS, which is what killed Kenny Everett.
It is, yeah.
A few years after this film. Then I don't know what I know what you're talking about now. So Lucas, we cut back to Lucas, and there he hears a laughing sound.
Yeah.
In his room, and then for no reason whatsoever, his metal leg gets stuck to the floor.
Yeah, malfunction. So he gets to do a bit of like physical comedy, doesn't he?
Because it looks like his legs magnetized to the floor or whatever. Then his trousers get ripped off.
They just fly off.
Just for no reason.
Yeah.
And then his doppelganger comes out from behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Also with only boxer shorts on. The doppelganger's metal leg touches Lucas's metal leg.
Yeah.
And that makes some sort of reaction. And Lucas gets killed by it.
It explodes.
It just explodes.
Yeah.
Because their legs touched.
I've put his doppelganger kills him via hot leg laser.
Yeah, because their legs started glowing like purpley red as well, didn't
Yeah.
they? What was going on there? Because everybody else gets killed in quite a fun and inventive way. Lucas is the main character.
Yeah,
And
it
gets
goes
killed
first.
like this. And goes first. And in a really weird way.
Because I will give it some credit. There were a few inventive deaths coming up.
Yeah.
This
absolutely.
wasn't, and it wasn't funny either.
No, it wasn't. So we then, after that, which is inexplicable, we cut back downstairs to the gay couple. The phone starts ringing in the house.
Yeah.
So Don Warrington goes to pick up the phone. A dagger shoots out of the phone.
Yeah, into his mouth.
And
Kills
through
it.
the back
I
of his
thought
head.
this was quite kind of Nightmare on Elm
Yeah,
Street.
it was really weird.
Yeah.
And it just kills him instantly.
He's like pinned to the wall by his head.
Yeah. And his mate doesn't really spot it because he's still reading this gay magazine with all these scantily clad men inside. And then the doppelganger comes out and sits next to Gareth Hunt's character. And then he gets choked to death by himself.
Yeah.
That was quite a funny line as well because he looks up and he's like, "It's me," which I thought was quite funny.
Oh, he said, "Is this suicide?"
Yeah. And then he's like,
Yeah.
"Is this suicide as he's being killed?" So they're both dead. So we're losing characters quite rapidly at this point.
Yeah.
Then John gets murdered
Yes.
by a teddy bear.
Yeah.
So he gets
Animated teddy bear.
he gets stuck in. He walks into this room that he's not been in before. Finds a teddy bear under the bed, and then the teddy bear's got massive long claws and murders him.
Yep.
That happens. Then the American dude is in a bathroom
Joyce checking out his hair.
checking out his hair.
Checking he still looks
He's got
cool.
a wig on, which we've
Yeah.
didn't know before. Suddenly, red blood water starts shooting out of the shower and out of the sink
And toilet.
and the toilet, and then a hand comes out of the toilet and pulls him into the toilet.
Yeah.
Weird. I presume it's from some sort of film. It must have happened in an 80s horror film, maybe. I don't know. And then, how do we talk about this one?
So his partner, the
Yeah.
promiscuous young lady,
Floozy.
walks in.
Yeah.
She doesn't realise she's talking to the
Yeah,
doppelganger.
so she's now talking to John, whatever his name is, Doppelganger.
And this is the guy who's got the mole on his arm, the big mole on his arm.
Yeah.
And basically he flashes his arm at her, and a mole comes out
An
of the
actual
mole
mole comes out of the mole.
and bites her on the neck, and
Yeah.
she's dead.
She gets eaten by a mole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a good joke, and it
It's
wasn't
not
a good payoff.
joke. And it was really badly done as well.
Yeah.
It looked like Gordon the Gopher was coming out
Yeah.
of his arm.
It was clearly someone with a hand in a sock.
And then we come back to Finch. She spots a painting of Jesus on the wall.
Yep.
Turns around and her mum is behind her. With still in this whatever the hell she's wearing with a curtain on the front of her face. But she then pulls out a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a lightsaber, it was a neon light tube. You could even
But
see
it was
the
a
end of
lightsaber. It was
But it was a
basically
lightsaber. Yeah, it was supposed to be. And cuts her head off.
Yeah.
With this lightsaber in the same way that she died.
And then
her head
she
being cut
pulls the curtains back, and it's her own doppelganger.
Yeah. Why was it a lightsaber?
Because it's just another movie reference, isn't it? And
So weird.
again, we got to remember Star Wars. So this what year did you say this was?
84.
84. So you'd have had
You've had one of them by then.
two
wouldn't you?
of them,
by
if
then?
not all three.
Yeah. So then, all of the doppelgangers get together because everybody's now dead except for Barbara.
Yeah.
So they're all lined up in their red cassocks.
Yep. Good word.
Thank you. The correct word. But then we cut to Lucas and Barbara. So this is what really confused me because I'm like, He's dead.
I had to rewind because you get this shot where it pans down the line of these doppelgangers.
Yeah.
And Lucas is there.
Yeah. So is Barbara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's fine because I knew she was still alive.
Yes.
The real Barbara.
Yes.
And then you cut straight to Lucas and Barbara, and I'm like, is he alive again?
Yeah. That's exactly what I was like.
Because I've just seen his doppelganger.
It's a really bad edit.
It's awful.
It is. It's a really bad edit. There's no reason for him to be. He could have not been in that lineup.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He was in that lineup.
Yeah.
So he's basically in two places at the same time in this scene. They're still looking around. She thinks
sort of stuff really grinds my gears.
She obviously thinks she's still with the original Lucas. They're still looking around. They go into this really cobwebby room.
I thought you thought they were like under the house.
They're in some sort of basement or something. There's cobwebs everywhere. And she suddenly looks up and she screams, "Ah, a bat!"
Yeah.
And then a cricket bat drops and lands on Lucas's head. That sort of thing makes me laugh.
Yeah,
it made me laugh.
It didn't, but only because I'd seen the trailer.
It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
I was thinking that we're getting so far into this film. I don't know if this scene's going to be in there. But so when it came, it made me laugh. But it's a really funny line.
And then they use it to open a door, and they're like, "Oh, it's an opening bat."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell, we're doing cricket jokes now."
Cricket jokes. And they open this door, and behind the door is like a crypt, I guess.
Yes.
They open up the crypt inside. What do you call them? Big metal coffin.
Sarcophagus.
Sarcophagus, not metal, stone. Big stone coffin. And there's loads of old books in there.
Yeah.
And they're basically the history of the house and everything that's gone on.
And Mandeville or Doppel Mandeville says, "Oh, these monks, they're extraterrestrial."
Yeah, they're aliens.
And they appear to cleanse the house of intruders.
Yes, because the manor must always remain empty.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the whole point of this film, is that they're not supposed to be there. But yeah, it turns out they're aliens, these monks, because of course they are.
Sure.
And then suddenly a really bad practical effect of Lucas's burned up old body pops up out of the coffin and scares the living bejeebus out of Barbara. And so she runs because she's like, "It's you!" to Lucas, which again was quite funny. But every time she runs to an exit, another one of the doppelgangers is standing there. So they basically capture her.
They do, and she's sort of atop the stone plinth, isn't she?
Yes, she's standing on the top of this stone plinth, and they're about to murder her in some sort of inventive way, I guess. But then suddenly the grate above her head opens up, and this ghost that she had sex with earlier, that is now obviously in love with her for some reason, carries her away through this hole in the roof.
Yeah, and you get this like little animation of her silhouette flying in front of the moon.
For an ET reference. The house has been cleansed at this point because there's nobody left in there now.
Yeah.
So because the house has been cleansed, the monks can get back on their spaceship.
Yeah, sure.
Because they've got a spaceship in the garden. And they fly off. This is basically your end of your film, because the last thing in this film is E.T. gets left behind again.
Oh, was it E.T.?
It was supposed to be E.T.
I didn't get the joke.
Because he's like, because you hear the voice, "Oh shit, not again."
Yeah.
Because he's been left off.
Yeah. I get it now.
The voice.
I didn't understand it. I just put someone left behind ?
E.T. was left behind, and he says, "Oh shit, not again." And that voice of E.T. is Michael McIntyre as an 11-year-old.
Crazy.
Absolutely
crazy.
He gets the last line of the film, and that's the end of it.
He can't do an impression of E.T. because I didn't get the joke.
You don't see it. It's from an E.T.'s eye view.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. And then the card comes up, the end. Or is it the beginning?
Yeah, it's the end.
It's the end, definitely.
Wow, this was crazy. I mean...
It wasn't what I was expecting.
So there was a ghost and aliens.
There was a ghost and aliens and...
An extraterrestrial.
Well, Vincent Price was a 700-year-old monk.
Yeah, true.
So, for some reason, Kenny Everett got a metal leg that looked like it's from a suit of armour. It wasn't what I was expecting when I picked it, I'm not going to lie.
I think it's really hard to judge this movie.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's just out of its time.
It is completely not aged well.
Yeah.
There are some jokes in there that you couldn't make this film now. Not in the same way, anyway. You could probably do it.
I'm a little bit surprised it's even on
same.
something like Netflix, to be honest.
Because a lot of those 80s sketch shows don't survive anywhere. Nobody has them. The Kenny Everett show isn't on the iPlayer or anything.
Yeah.
You can't go and find it. There was a big controversy about Benny Hill's show coming back not long ago. One of the streaming services picked that up.
Yeah.
And people they were up in arms about that appearing again. So these sort of 80s sketch shows have been lost to the histories of time. Things like Morecambe and Wise and the Two Ronnies are still about, but they were inoffensive. Kenny Everett was an offensive shock jock.
Yeah.
This doesn't hold up at all.
No, I mean, the fact that he goes after blind people, people with speech impediments, and
gay people.
Disabled
people with disabilities.
It was just like, I wasn't expecting that. I thought, if anything, this will have aged and be quaint.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was like, oh, that's out of order.
Yeah.
That don't fly 38 years later.
No, it doesn't.
And I'm surprised it's on a streaming
I'm
service.
surprised it exists anywhere these days. I'm surprised you can still get it. Have you ever watched Garth Marenghi's Dark Place?
Yeah.
It has a real feel of that. I feel like that's what this sort of thing is, what that was parodying.
Yes.
And it has a real feel of that, especially like the scenes where they're in the kitchen and they're doing the naughty together and whatever. That really felt Dark Place to me.
Yeah.
And so that's the sort of thing that this film has a legacy for that sort of thing. But this film shouldn't exist in this day and age.
Yeah. The bits I liked, like say, it was the puns. It was
the non-offensive jokes are funny.
There's some good jokes in it.
Yeah, there are.
Not many. But like I say, it raised a couple of smiles.
I don't think it did well at the time either, to be fair. I don't think
it's a mess though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a mess.
An absolute mess.
There are, like you say, there are bits of it that are funny. I imagine there are people out there who worship it. I imagine it's got some sort of cult following.
I found it a difficult watch. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I agree. It's also not that good.
What is it?
As a film itself, it's not.
Exactly.
The story's not great.
Exactly. It's part parody of other movies.
Yeah.
With all the references. It tries to be gory, funny, and does it succeed in any of it? I don't think
it does. I mean, it would have been better if it was just a series of sketches that all tied together, which parts of it were, but then there's whole bits of it that are not.
No one's good in this.
Nobody's good in it.
It's Kenny Everett's movie, and he doesn't give himself...
Kills himself off first.
He doesn't give himself time to show his talents.
No, not at all.
Like,
this guy's a comedy icon in this country. People worship Kenny Everett, and yet I'd never heard. My dad worships Kenny Everett. He loves him, but I've never heard of this film.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's forgotten.
It's a real curio, isn't it? It's like a time capsule.
Yeah,
it's
completely.
Not. It's not timeless. It is caught in its.
Yeah, absolutely.
1984 or whenever it's from.
Yeah,
it's
80s humor, 100%. But that sort of thing doesn't hold up these days.
Yeah,
which is a shame. Could you remake it today? Today, not
isn't a scary movie something like this? That's what you would end up with.
Could you make it today with modern day comics?
I'm not watching Michael McIntyre in a remake of this movie.
Somebody like Tom Davis would make it work, though. I reckon, or I don't know. I just feel like you could probably do some sort of parody of it, remake it.
You could do it. This is just this is just a bad movie.
It's just whether it is a bad movie. It's a real shame. Because it's not when I pulled it out for my wildcard, it's not what I was expecting it to be, and I was hoping I'd have a bit more fun with it.
The offensiveness took me by surprise.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So, what's the best thing about it? It is the non-offensive jokes. It's that scene in the library.
I think it's the bookshelf jokes.
That bookshelf joke was good.
I love the secret door joke.
Yeah,
it really made me laugh.
And the sudden spear.
Yeah,
it was funny. The cricket bat joke's great. When she thinks a bat, she screams bat. He thinks a bat's coming, and then a cricket bat hits him. That's 80s humour. That's Morecambe and Wise, Two Ronnies kind of humour.
Yeah,
that's what works for me. I thought it was really good.
When they're just like lobbing innards at each other, I was just like, this is not what this is not working.
No, I agree. How would you make it better?
I mean, have I got a time machine? I don't know. All right, I don't think that's an easy one to answer because of how caught in the past this is. If I have got a time machine, I want to go back and review it in 1984.
Just see.
And am I still saying it's a bad? Because just society is totally different.
Yeah, completely. I wonder if we could find.
I don't think I would like it. I don't like.
I wonder if we could find a review of it from the 80s in some sort of 80s movie magazine or something. Yeah. I might do some research over the weekend, see if I can find a review from when it came out. Somebody would have reviewed it.
I didn't have a good time.
I think what I would do with it, you've got a horror icon in there in Vincent Price, and you've completely underused him.
He was obviously on set for 3 days.
It doesn't even do his iconic laugh in it.
No,
you've got to use Vincent Price better than that.
Yeah,
and I think that's what I would do. I don't know how, but I think you've got to use him better. You can't just keep him. You can't just trim his wings like that.
Yeah, I think he did a day on this, and that was it.
If that. I think you're probably right. That brings us to the stream table. I don't think I've won this season's wildcard race.
I'm going to put it out there. No.
No, I don't think I have. Shall I read through it?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want me to do the whole thing? We've not done that for a while.
Yeah, let's do all
This
18 movies.
Yeah, this will be the 19th film going into it. So currently at the bottom of the stream is Werewolves of the Third Reich, closely followed by Secret Obsession. Get In is at 16. 15 is Anti-Life. 14 was Ross Cook's wildcard, American Mary. 13 is Time Freak. 12 is The Holiday Calendar. 11, Destruction Las Vegas. Then we hit the top 10. 10, A Classic Horror Story. 9, The Perfection. 8, Containment. 7, Arlo the Alligator Boy. 6, Aries. 5, Good Time. 4, Hello, My Name is Doris. 3, What Happened to Monday. 2, Under the Shadow, which was your wildcard.
Yes.
And currently at number 1 in the stream table, top of the stream, is Apostle, which was Samuel Holland's wildcard.
Cool.
2 wildcards at the top, 1 at 14th. Where's mine going?
I mean, it'd be interesting to bookend the table, wouldn't it? I'm debating which side of Werewolves of the Third Reich does this movie go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
It's bad.
It's not Werewolves
But
of the
it's
Third
not.
Reich
It's not.
bad. There are bits in it that are good.
It's bad, but it's not. I'm going to say it's not necessarily the movie's fault.
Yeah, it's
Because
not aged well.
it's just so out of time.
Yeah. There's no way it's that bad.
But I can only mark it against what else I've got on this list. I might move it one above.
I think that's harsh. I really think that's
Where
harsh.
have you got this sitting?
I got it just above Get In.
Okay. I mean,
That still means I'm losing the wild
fine.
card race.
So
There's no way it's as bad as Werewolves of the Third Reich or Secret Obsession. Get In was made me angry. It should be lower, in my opinion. And then I can't even remember what Anti-Life is.
that was the Bruce Willis one.
Oh, yeah.
I was just totally forgetful.
Completely forgettable.
Okay, let's look at this properly.
It's somewhere. It's either side of Anti-Life. That's where I'd put it.
I will counter you. I will go above Werewolves of the Third Reich. I will go above Secret Obsession because I think Secret Obsession may have the honour of being one of the most boring films we've ever watched.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Which there's not many more offences for a movie than to just be boring.
No.
I might struggle to go higher than that.
Okay. So Get In was last week's film.
Yeah. Which I really dislike for an absolute metric shit ton of reasons.
Yeah.
And actually, it's been a really horrible double bill.
Yeah, it has. I'm really
with
sorry.
That and this.
No, this wasn't what I was expecting.
That's the way it happens sometimes.
It is.
That's the whole fun of this, isn't it? Personally, I would have it just below, but if you want to put it above, I'm not going to argue
I kind of want to put it above purely.
I think they kind of make quite a nice pair, actually.
Yeah, they
because
kind of
they're
do.
just weird and just a total shit show.
This
pair of movies.
I think this film knew what it wanted to be, but I don't think it achieved what it wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Get In, I don't think it ever knew what it was.
It lurched more, I guess.
It lurched a lot more. And there are funny scenes in this film. There's nothing good about Get In. Nothing. But there are a couple of good jokes in this film. So for that reason, I think it should go above.
Okay, well, I think you let me have a choice a couple of weeks ago.
I'll let you put Get In there.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, so 16th.
Yeah. I'd only have it one lower realistically, so it's not really worth it.
It still puts me at the
arguing
bottom of the
toss-up.
stream of the wildcards bloody pile, which I'm not happy about. But hey ho. Who cares?
Look, it happens.
It does.
We've been there.
Right, we need to pick next week's film. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
What would you want?
Something good.
I knew you were going to say that.
Let's have what have we had the last couple of weeks? We've had this comedy. We've had some
Home Invasion.
We had a wistful rom-com. Should we have some sort of affecting drama? Something that's I want to be a bit more invested than the last couple of weeks.
You want an actual film?
Yeah.
What you're saying. Right, I'm going to press the button. Are you ready?
Sure am.
It has picked a film called Orbiter 9.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
What do you think it is?
I mean, I'm taking a punt and saying it's spacey.
Sounds a bit spacey, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not Kevin Spacey.
No, that would be problematic.
That would be problematic. It is spacey. It's also Spanish.
Okay.
We have huge success with Spanish films in the past.
They have a strong batting average.
They do.
On this show.
They absolutely do. It's from 2017. It runs for an hour and a half. Do you want to know the synopsis?
Yes, please.
Helena has lived on a spaceship since birth 20 years ago. She meets her first human besides her dead parents when Alex repairs the oxygen supply, but things are not what they seem.
Ooh.
5.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
Full of Spanish people. Loads of them in it. Sounds interesting. We've not
Yeah.
done space film for a while.
No, I don't think we've done a sci-fi since we did Anti-Life with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Which was
Oh, yeah, that was spacey, wasn't it?
a nothing movie. So
Yeah, completely nothing movie. Hopefully this one won't be. So yeah, go out and check out Orbiter 9. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Our usernames are at BOTS_podcast. Check us out. If you want to drop us an email, you can do that at any time you like. It's bottomofthestream@gmail.com. Check out our website, bottomofthestream.com. On there, you'll find every episode we've ever recorded, all 6 season stream tables, loads of other cool stuff, and you can even buy some merch if you want a Bottom of the Stream
kilt.
kilt, apparently. You probably can. I'm not going to lie. When you've done that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream to become one of our patrons. For a couple of quid every month, you will get early access to episodes. You will get bonus episodes, loads of other cool stuff. Nick writes a newsletter every month. And if you come in at the top level, you can play a wild card like I've just done and hopefully do a better job than I did. After you've done all that, head over to Discord. We have a lot of fun in the Discord. We've got a watch-along coming along. But it would have happened by now. It's this Sunday, I believe.
We're closing out the Left Behind trilogy.
We are doing indeed. We should have done it last week, but I completely forgot. So that was on me. I apologise to people who are in the Discord. Come and join us in the Discord. There's loads of cool stuff going on there all the time. We have a lot of good chats. Discord link will be at the bottom of the show notes.
If you can spare a few minutes, please consider leaving us a review or a rating anywhere that you can do that for podcasts. That could be Apple Podcasts, it could be Spotify, it could be Cephalopod, it could be Podbean, it could be Podchaser. We're everywhere that you can get a podcast. So just come and do that. It really helps put us in front of more listeners. Maybe you could review it via mints, because that seems to have been what happened this week in this movie. Just lob huge piles of mints at each other, pretend it's innards.
Yeah, do that.
Maybe cook it first, it'll smell nicer.
Yeah. Maybe next year I'll do better with my wild card.
Look, the whole point is you're taking a gamble.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You don't know what you're
I thought it was a good pick last week.
Yeah, so did I.
Thought that is a strong pick, and it's something a bit different for us.
But it's
who were you to know that time would not be your friend?
Time was not on my side. The world has changed in the 40 years.
I maintain that I may not have liked the movie, but I had a great time talking about it.
Same.
And often they make for the best episodes.
Agreed. We always have more fun with the shit movies than we do with the good ones, so that's fair. So hopefully we'll have we'll have a good movie, but maybe if not, a shit movie and a good episode next week when we watched Orbiter 9. So we'll be back on Monday for that. No, we'll be back on Monday for The Wave, and we'll be back next Thursday for Orbiter 9.
Cheers.
Bye.